The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. The Angry Chicken is directly supported by listeners like you via patreon.com/TAC.
Everyone, get in here! Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is the Angry Chicken.
Greetings and welcome back, everyone, especially patrons, because this is the Patron Hangout, or at least the next Patron Hangout for the Angry Chicken. I'm Garrett Weinzierl. Willadus Gregory is off screen, but will be joining us very shortly, and Jocelyn Moffat is on screen with her fabulous hair.
Ta-da!
Yeah. I'm rocking like super casual today. I don't have my green screen going because we're just chilling, and I don't feel like melting in front of my lights. I'm actually enjoying that it's cold enough in Florida that I can wear a hoodie without dying, and my hair is soups curly at the moment. So everyone enjoy. It looks awful.
I can't see your hair right now. I'm so sad about that, but I'm sure you have a great hair game.
Anyways, yeah, so this is our Patron Hangout. If you've never done this before, folks, if you are watching live, this obviously does not apply to those of you listening on podcast, because we have not invented time travel. But if you are watching live right now and you would like to join the show, send us a message to the super secret Angry Chicken Skype account, the details of which can be found over at patreon.com/TAC, to let us know you would like to be added to the call. We will pull you in one at a time. And we also have questions, guys. My plea for questions in the comment section of our Patreon actually worked. We have questions from patrons who couldn't call in live. So since no one has messaged yet, I think we'll just get the ball rolling by starting with one of them.
Sounds good.
Let's start with the longest one, which came to us from Claygore, who wrote, "Can you describe what you feel the role of community testing is or should be in gaming these days? It would seem that game designers are putting out content that they are, quote, not sure is correct, but they, quote, want to see what everyone thinks and, quote, if this works or not. When I was a wee lad, I went to big box stores and bought the game box, and when I installed the game, that is what the game was and is and will be forever. These days, games seem to be far more dynamic and responsive to their players, and while I enjoy that beyond measure, I wonder what happened to games that just wanted to be whatever the creators wanted, and if you didn't like the game, tough, just go play someone else's game. Is this just a Blizzard strategy for their tiny, huge corner of the gaming stratosphere?"
Definitely a Blizzard strategy, although you're seeing it a lot more from things like indie devs. You've got a lot of like the early access and stuff. But then you've got companies like Nintendo where like we don't see anything until like day of, and then it's like, here's the game, and then that's it. So there are still.
I mean, it depends on the platform, right? Like, if your platform is Steam, this is technology we didn't have as wee lads, right? And I know what you're talking about. You had a computer and you had dial-up, and you would go to a game store and you would buy some discs, and you would install your game disc by disc, right?
Yeah, most importantly, you had Babbages. You could go to Babbage's. They had like 8 TVs all stacked on top of each other, like, you know, big tube TVs. And you were like, oh my God, I've never seen these many televisions in my life. And they're so huge, when in reality they were like maybe 2 feet across diagonally.
But I mean, we just didn't have the ability to patch games and improve them and change them after you'd purchase them. Because if you wanted to do that, I actually do remember like some of the early MMOs, and I wasn't like some big time player of them, but I did like mess around with some of that stuff. You would get a patch, and then over dial-up, it would take like 24 hours to like patch your game.
Yeah.
And at the time, you couldn't use the telephone at the same time as the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I never had a game that I could patch because my mom was certainly not going to turn the phone off for 24 hours while I patch my game at 1 megabit a second or whatever the hell it was back then. Like, it was not even that good.
This is going to be like nothing but nostalgia talk. But you all remember that scene in Back to the Future where Marty is back in the past and he's like, oh yeah, I've got a TV in my room. And the kid's like, you have 2 TVs?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That was like me when I went over to one of my friends' houses back in the day of 56K modems, and they had a second phone line specifically just so that was the dedicated internet line. And I was just like, oh my God, you guys must be loaded.
Yeah, seriously. But so basically it's really just an era thing, right? It's just that we can do that now. So why not take advantage of the fact that, like Josh was saying, the pre-order game, you can put your game out before it's even complete and get a whole bunch of feedback from people on what sucks and what's not working, and they find the bugs for you. And you could take a small team that didn't have a QA department, and now suddenly your QA department is just the people buying your game, right? They find all your bugs for you, and then you fix the bugs, and you don't have to hire a bunch of people to do that. So
that's the indie early access model.
yeah. And it's actually really good because the games are better for it, right? Like we can give feedback that's real from gamers. Like this did actually happen in the past. We just didn't see it, right? So you would have, if you are a Nintendo, you would have professional game testers, right? People who would just sit there and play the game. It's just not the community. It's just a few people that they pay to do it. And all they really do is they try to find where you can walk through the walls and do all the weird stuff that you're not supposed to be able to do.
Yeah, and companies still have that.
Still exists. Yeah, that's still a console thing. Yeah,
a lot of our friends who work at Blizzard got their start in QA.
Well, yeah, a big company like Blizzard can still do it, but then they also have a public test realm, and
PTR stuff.
They have many checks and balances along the way.
Yeah. That being said,
but oftentimes public test realm doesn't get changed before it goes live unless there's a major game-breaking bug, right?
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, both the Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm team have come out and said that, hey guys, listen, the PTR is way more for game-breaking bugs than it is for balance.
Yeah. We're not in there to see if, hey, are warriors too strong now? Although I would say that Hearthstone would be better for it if it did have a PTR. I think that was maybe kind of a closed PTR. I think there is definitely, we've talked in the past about PTR and Hearthstone, but for new expansions, maybe you have a PTR that's just for a bunch of pros and kind of people that the community high ranking, I don't even know what you call this, high visibility community members. Yeah, people who kind of have a lot to do with the game who aren't Blizzard employees, and they can tell you if patches is stupid, right?
Do you mean patches the card or patches things you patch into your game?
No, patches the card. Yeah. I'm sure there is some consulting going on, but or before they make a change, right? Before they actually make a nerf or a buff, have that come out a little bit earlier, and people can then give them a little bit of feedback. I think it would be a positive thing. I don't think you want to spoil all of the cards for everybody before they come out, right?
Yeah.
But
and that's kind of the problem is that it's twofold. First of all, it's you're publishing on a whole bunch of different platforms, which I think is something that they've said in the past. Basically, because they are on iOS and Apple's approval process for apps is so freaking long that it messes up with their timing. So if they were to add a PTR that's open to everybody, then that's where they start to get into a whole bunch of different issues with timing and stuff like that. So it sets everything back, and we don't want that. So, publishing on a whole bunch of different platforms is an issue. And then it's because they seem to want mobile to be the same as PC, which I think is probably a mistake. I think you could make a PTR work on PC and it doesn't have to translate over to mobile, but that's just me. But then the second problem is, like Dill's mentioned, where you are giving the community all the information before the actual launch of something. So then you've got your meta figured out faster, and that's not necessarily healthy for the game either.
Yeah. It is a timely question, too. I saw a tweet from Raynad earlier saying that, well, actually, let me just pull it up here so I don't misquote him. He said, I think Blizzard did a good job with MSG. Honestly, just think they should consult pros for balance occasionally, like Valve and Riot do. I'd like to see something like that, too.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, these are the people who play every day, all day, and have a sense of why cards are powerful and what makes them potentially broken or not broken, right? And I don't think anything's right now broken, but the truth is the end of the season kind of stats that a lot of pros were sharing on their Twitters last night were essentially saying they were playing against 80% Shaman.
Yeah.
At the very end, while everyone was trying to scramble for top 100, top 10, all that kind of stuff, everybody was basically playing Shaman. So you were just playing against Shaman, and that to me is like that's where you see at its most broken, right? So definitely in the general population that won't be true, but this is where we kind of like get the extremes, right? Every pro there is like, why would I play something that's not Shaman when that's clearly the top deck?
Well, and even then, like, I mean, I queued in to play yesterday a couple of times, and I faced exclusively Shaman, and that might have been my terrible bad luck. But I mean, and I'm not in Legend. I'm not racing for Legend or anything else. But I'm just kind of like, because it's the last day and everyone wants to get as high as they possibly can, everyone's just like, well, Shaman's the most powerful. It's aggro. Yeah. I'm just going to play it. So I think I got 3 or 4 games in, and I was just like, F this. This isn't fun. I'm not playing today. Like, I am where I am, and that's just how I'm going to finish the season, and whatever. I'll start again tomorrow. But it's just not fun.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is it's okay if there's a most powerful class. It's not okay when it makes the game less fun for everybody. Yeah. Right? So that's
and at many different ranks. Like, it's not just it's everyone trying to see how high they can get, so everyone is playing Shaman.
And I feel like we probably could have told them that Jade Lightning is a pretty disgusting card if we had some sort of community testing or PTR, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like, hey, Shaman, you know what they need? More spells that go face and means at the same time.
And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds fantastic. Why wouldn't we go down that road? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right, because the other classes didn't get equally as ridiculous cards.
They don't have that.
Yeah, exactly. So...
if I'm a paladin, I can do 3 and draw a card. Ooh. For the same amount of mana? No, not even close. Not even close. And I don't have spell power on demand. So it's just, it's like one of those things where we're happier in the world we live in now where we do have community testing, essentially. But, Claygore's question, I think, really speaks to, like, just this is progress, man. Like, it's going to, in 20 more years, it's going to be even completely different than that. There might just be
they'll just pipe games right into our brains, and then we won't even have to play anything. We'll just
it might just be like
have the game experience in our
memory. Makes the game, right? Like that. There's not even a dev team. We're just like 100 nerds like from around the world all get together like OBS and other open softwares and just kind of all write it together. Like things are going to change again.
And you know what?
Even that actually is, but
even back in the day. They tried to patch things into my console games. I distinctly remember them patching Knuckles into Sonic 2. I had to go buy the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge and then open the top and then plug the other cartridge into the other cartridge and then stick that all into my Genesis. But you know what?
They had Game Genie. That was kind of like patching,
Game Genie,
right?
yeah. I mean, it was extremely not official and could screw up your game potentially. But yeah, I have one of those too. That's how I got a Mew in my original... Oh, that was a Game Shark.
That was the way you patched back then, right? It was like, here's another thing. I do remember, like, you would just go buy like more discs essentially, right? And then you'd put them in, and they would add stuff to your game. Yeah, that was the downloadable content, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I prefer this method of game making where things can be iterated upon, fixed, and added to.
Game purchasing, where I just don't have to go to a store anymore. Just download it to my computer.
That's also very true. You have to have a pretty good sale for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to go out to GameStop and have them tell me I should buy this next crappy game and pre-order it 3 years in advance.
There's a GameStop pretty close to me, and I've literally never gone into it a single time, right? I've gotten burritos next door, and I've never even had an urge to step into it.
I love that you have a burrito place next to your GameStop because our local GameStop has a Chipotle right next door. So
well, nerds love burritos, right?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's add our first caller, our good friend Josh Deacon, if he's paying attention to his Skype. We'll see what happens here. That's the nice thing about written emails. They're ready to be pulled into the episode whenever we're ready. Hey Josh, how you doing?
All right, yourself?
Doing all right. What did you want to talk about today?
Just saying hi first of all, and we're almost there. I have almost completed the tack trick.
That sounds wrong.
It's a hat trick. But with tack hosts.
I keep missing you, I know.
No. It's I've seen you on my friends list a whole bunch of times and just been like, can't do it.
Garrett.
Garrett. Yeah, that's pretty.
No.
That's pretty much everyone's reaction.
I'm most excited to play Garrett, but yeah.
Oh, ouch!
Oh, well.
You can't win here. You can't win here.
Never mind. Add Joss and Dills then, I guess.
I can win because I plan on visiting Toronto in the near future.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Toronto's a good place.
Toronto is a very good place. Most of my family is there, actually.
Nice.
Yes. And you guys have inspired me to get on my game of actually doing some streaming. And one of the things I like to do is cooking on Twitch. And the first recipe I want to do, angry chicken tacos.
Ooh.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I want to know what goes into an angry chicken taco.
I've already figured it out. It's a jerk chicken taco with the coleslaw already in it. Yeah, it's kind of like a fish taco only. Yeah.
Yeah, sign me up.
My sister lives in San Diego.
That sounds fantastic. I love those kind of like SoCal style tacos. That's actually what we served at our wedding.
Nice.
Like I love them so much. So sign me up for spicy, fresh, coleslaw covered tacos.
Yeah,
Yep.
tacos at a wedding was actually wonderful. Like, it was so cool and so laid back to just have food trucks at the wedding. Loved it.
Tacos all the time,
Everyone
man.
should do it. Everyone should do it.
Tacos.
I'm literally on I'm on a taco diet right now. I basically
I know.
bought-
I've seen your.
Yeah. You saw my tweets. Yeah, I bought a whole bunch of
Yeah.
taco stuff, like just simple stuff. I'm not going crazy with each taco, but it's basically just like protein wrapped in a tortilla, and
Yeah.
they're delicious and healthy. So
I'm
Yeah.
on the milkshake diet. I go down to the local custard stand, get a milkshake.
That sounds
All right.
That sounds really kind of unhealthy any way you slice it. If it's traditional milkshakes, I mean, it's just too much sugar. And if you're literally taking everything you eat and making a milkshake out of it, that's just gross.
No, it's just whenever I'm in the mood to feel good, I watch Dill stream and drink a milkshake.
this was the very heavy
So I can
milkshake
have-
season for me, by the way.
So I
I
can have
played milkshake all the way to
with my
rank 5.
milkshake.
That was a
Yeah.
lot of milkshakes. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that we're inspiring you to make recipes for actual food.
Yes, and possibly stream it with perhaps a certain tech host.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cook for a tech host with an tech host. Yeah. Do the stream. Get it going. Post the recipe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any questions before we take the next caller?
I did, but I'm so tired.
has slipped
I've
the
been
mind.
up late and stuff. I just wanted to talk about, food and stuff.
All right. Well, I'll quickly annoy the other two Angry Chicken hosts by asking you a question. I see you're wearing a Doctor Who shirt. Who's your favorite Doctor?
Yes?
Gun to your head. Favorite Doctor.
Fourth, easily.
Okay. All right. Safe answers.
No. I literally knit my sister for Christmas 2 years ago the full Doctor Who scarf, the original first one, 14 feet long.
Damn.
In wool.
All right. You've earned the right to claim the fourth without being every other Doctor Who fan.
Yes. No, I actually would stay up. It was on our public television. I got to stay up on Saturday nights at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night because I was staying up with my sister. We would watch Doctor Who together on Saturdays. It was awesome.
Nice.
That and I think Benny Hill came on right afterwards.
Oh, damn.
It was great.
Okay, so you had yourself a nice British evening.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds great. Well, I will leave you with this. Eccleston or death. All right, see you, man. And it looks like Cheesy Bob's chilling in the wings, too, so we'll just pull him in here. Eventually, when the green button on Skype gets pressed. And there's a Bob.
There we go. Hi.
Hi.
We have ourselves a Bob. Hey, dude. How you doing?
I had to allow a bunch of access. This is my second new phone over the course of about a month.
Really? Why?
I got a lemon, basically.
Oh, okay. I was like, man,
I'm not sure if you've heard of the fabled touch disease on the iPhone 6 Pluses.
No.
But basically what happens is the touch screen stops being able to process touches.
Oh.
And
that's
it is a problem with like the actual like motherboard of the device. And so the fix that Apple is doing is basically they're like, it's a bit of a design flaw, so we will give you a new phone for just the price of a new screen.
What?
So, yeah.
That's their problem.
So
they should replace it for free.
I got a new iPhone for $150 instead of whatever it would cost to buy a new one.
Oh, they should give you just a new one for free if it's their damn problem.
Yep, agreed.
Well, it's one of those things. It's not all phones, and it requires some amount of physical damage to have been done, because if you drop it...
now the truth comes out. There it is.
But this board used to be a lot more sturdy, and they made some decisions that made it a lot less sturdy, and now like there's basically like the physical chip is separating from the board. Anyway, so I got a new phone, and then a week later it just stopped working completely. Like I've never actually had an iPhone literally brick, but it was literally
Did you drop
a brick.
it in a pitcher of water or something?
No, I was using it on the way back to my desk from a meeting. I sat down at my desk, did some work, got up, picked up my phone, tried to wake it up, and it was non-functional.
Jeez.
Well, that's good.
And it was
You've had terrible luck.
Yeah, no, it was like broken. So, it's just kind of funny because so I had to re-log into Skype, and then it's like you called me, and it's like, wants to access your microphone. Okay, wants to access your camera. Okay, just let me in.
Nice. Well, fantastic. Well, did you have a topic of discussion other than your horrible luck and possible violence against your phones?
A couple things. First off, I was listening to yesterday's episode today in preparation for the show, and I wanted to mention that you should check out Ailstorm's cover of You Are a Pirate. It's pretty awesome.
I'm glad somebody caught that, because Dills and Joss didn't seem to enjoy my You Are a Pirate reference as much as my own
This
brain
is still
did.
over my head. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening right now.
Yeah, so Ailstorm is a pirate metal band based out of Scotland. Or Ireland. I don't know if they're Scottish or Irish. They'd hate me for that.
It makes a very big difference.
I know. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's Scottish, but anyway, they did a cover of You Are a Pirate, and it's pretty awesome.
So, Dills and Joss, after the show, and you can wait longer because otherwise it's going to sound like I'm hyping this up too much. It's not that funny, but it's funny enough and has been an internet meme enough that you should go and look up Lazy Town, You Are a Pirate on YouTube after this, and just bask in the ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's a fun and goofy song.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. From a children's show.
Is, you know.
Yes.
And then a pirate metal band did a metal cover of it, which is, if you're into metal, a lot more awesome.
Yes. So that's the reference. It's no longer funny because it's been explained too much, but definitely go and check it out.
Let's see. I have a little note here. Let me go pull it up.
Are you not allowed to show what's behind you when you move your camera around? Is that why you turned your camera off? It's just
no, that's
blank whiteboard.
just me switching over to the Notes app.
Oh, gotcha. I figured it was a physical note.
Yeah, no, the whiteboard is empty. There's no critical Google secrets on it right now.
Right now.
So
there
what's
was, and I had to erase it.
Oh, nice. We could have seen and possibly gotten you fired. But what was your note?
So there's two other kind of small ones. First off is I'm going to pimp your sponsor. The Harry's post-shave balm is great.
Isn't it? I love it. And I'm not just saying that because they sponsor our show. I have actually gone out of my way.
I don't like lotions. I hate putting on sunscreen. I like the post-shave balm.
There you go.
So that's the thing. It's like I hate lotions. I hate like a greasy feeling, but it's just like, it's nice. I like it. So I just wanted to give your sponsor a shout out there.
Awesome.
Nice.
And then as far as actual Hearthstone related stuff, talking about like new cards and design space, one thing that was mentioned, they were talking about how charge is a thing. The thing that they don't like, or that they're really scared and have to be careful about, is things that give charge to minions that don't normally have charge. Right? Because minions that just have a charge aren't a problem. Like Corcoran Elite, it's a good card, but it's not crazy because like you never need to play around much more than like 4 charge damage out of hand.
Sure.
Right.
And like Leroy is fine too. They balance it by making it 5 mana. It's totally fine, right?
Right, and even with the Warlock combo of 20 damage from hand, that's still 3 cards, and it's
and you
not
need to
an
get
OTK.
on. Yeah.
And you need the Thor something. So it's so charge is one of those things where basically I think now all the things that grant charge have been nerfed to the point where they're not inordinate. So the charge card, and they
Warsong Commander.
They took Warsong Commander out behind the barn and shot it. But yeah, so and then something that actually occurred to me is you were actually talking later in the episode about playing Miracle Rogue, and you mentioned how Conceal was really good, and just sometimes you just win when you draw Conceal, and it occurred to me that Conceal is kind of like giving your minions charge. But it's like, give all the minions I played charge next turn.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely it is, because the reason why Summoning Sickness is a big weakness to minions that don't have charge is because it gives the other opponent a turn to respond, right? And with Conceal, they do not get the turn to respond. So sure, it's not technically charged, but it does act in a similar way. It's almost like, so there's another thing too, where if you, like, let's say an opponent plays, back in the day this used to matter, but the Void Caller, right? And they play a Void Caller, right? And then it's your turn. If I kill that minion, then and I can't deal with the demon that pops out, I essentially gave whatever popped out charge, right? Like there's other ways you can kind of quantify what charge actually means in a game of Hearthstone.
Yeah, I made that mistake to do my Hunter quest. I've been playing Wild because Hunter is actually kind of good in Wild. And I made that mistake playing against Demon Lock, where they played the guy, and I used Hunter's Mark to kill it with a 1/1, and then out popped.
And then Mal'Ganis comes out, and you're like, I can't.
No, it wasn't Mal'Ganis. It was the charge guy.
The 5/7. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had 4
Doom
damage
Guard
plus the 1/1, so I could have killed it, and then Hunter's Mark the Doom Guard, and then killed that, and I was like,
Sure. Yeah. And then then they get like a free 5/7, right? That you can't deal with. Yep.
But that deck was actually really funny because it was like a demon buffing deck, and I ended up losing to like a 9/8 Tiny Knight of Evil.
Oh my god, that's awesome! That's a great way to lose.
Because he like discarded cards and also played the +3/+3 to a demon.
Welcome to Wild.
And I was like, oh,
this is why Wild
cool.
is so fun. This will never happen in Standard, right?
Low rank Wild too. Like low rank Wild is kind of amazing.
It is. It really is.
It's really creative.
That's what, like, I was having a blast, and then I got to rank 5, and I was like, I am not having a blast anymore. Everyone's playing like meta Wild decks. This sucks.
Stupid tryhards. Get out of Wild.
Yeah, Wild is a lot of fun. I'm excited for it to get better and more interesting. I really think Wild will be really, really fun in like a couple years. Right? Because
I think
that's when
it'll be really fun. Just when we have some new cards and a bunch of cards that can no longer get played, period, in Standard, right? Once there's like
one
half
more
of
rotation,
these cards can't get played in Standard, it changes. I think you get a bunch of new players, an influx of new players who want to play crazy decks, and I think suddenly it becomes more. Because right now, I played a little Wild yesterday on stream and queued into the same guy again like 3 times in a row, and I'm kind of sick of that happening. So. We need more players.
Yeah, I would love the Hearthstone tournament to actually end up going to the way they do it in for Magic is they have like mixed format, right? So they do I want to say like for the main like pro stuff they'll do like limited and then a constructed and then limited then constructed or something like that. And the one that I think is really fun was the Invitational, where they do like a bunch of different wacky formats where they have like constructed standard and constructed modern, and so it'd be really cool to see like if the Hearthstone tournament could be like some sort of thing where it's like standard and Wild or standard and sealed. Wouldn't
Sure.
sealed be fun?
I'm in.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, Cheesy Bob and everyone else in the world?
I really, really hope they're working on a sealed thing, because like that is like it seems like it's really close, right? Just like, because I think the biggest problem that you guys talked about it last week with regard to arena and stuff, where it's basically like, you can't draft synergy, right? Because if you pick a card that's only good if you have synergy and then you don't get any other cards, then it's just a terrible card.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you have sealed and you get like, I don't know, like 60 cards or something like that, and you need to make a 30-card deck out of it, or something that has been suggested in the past is like you draft 35 cards and then pick 30.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then
like
I actually really liked your repicking idea of like you have 3 legendaries and you only get 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely think that there's Arena was really good initially, but I think that I would be really excited to see a better limited mode in the game.
Yeah, I think we're all for it for sure. Right now, it's like Arena's just kind of like past its due date almost. It just doesn't feel as exciting as it once did, unfortunately.
But it's cool that they're talking about it, right? And that obviously they're thinking about interesting
something's
things.
Happening. Yeah, something's
hopefully
happening.
something happens soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm there with you, Cheesy Bob. And we keep getting tweets too about people who are engaging in our arena chat. So there's definitely interest out there, I think, for a deeper experience. So, unfortunately, I think in the near future, I'm expecting it to be more along the lines of just, hey, arena is standard now, and here's a few more cards.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. I mean, that's something where it's been brought up on the show before, is that apparently the client, it's hard to do stuff in.
Exactly.
And I can really, being a software engineer myself, I can really appreciate how much work it is to actually take something that's broken and hard to do and change it into something that's like not as broken.
Yeah.
You mean there isn't just a big fix it button? That
Magic wand.
sounds wrong.
The big fix it button is throw it all away, start over, and spend a year and a half.
Well, I don't want to be without Hearthstone for a year and a half.
Yeah.
That would suck.
No. No, let's keep it running, please. So.
But I have faith that they employ smart people and are making a ton of money, so they can like approve hiring more smart people to hopefully get the client to something where they can more rapidly change kind of core mechanic stuff. So
Yeah.
I think it'll happen eventually, but it's one of those things where people get uppity and anxious, and it's like it really does take like, if you're not like only working on completely rewriting the thing, it really does take like years.
Yeah. No, that's what I expect to a certain degree, and that I feel like we do a good job of being like, we know it's hard, but wouldn't it be cool if, like,
yes,
we try
definitely.
We try to preface most of our suggestions in that way. So, well, thanks for calling in, dude.
All right, have a good one.
You as well.
I'm kind of like doing a cheating thing right now, by the way, just real quick.
Oh,
I'm playing the Tavern Brawl just because I was testing some stuff out. So I'm not really like paying attention, but it's the Christmas one again, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a Christmas one again.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten completely what they do, but the boxes, I just like made a random deck and just started playing.
Yeah.
The boxes give you like discover a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just discovered a 0-mana Starving Buzzard into a 4-mana Call of the Wild. So I just wanted to pass that on. That's what's happening in my life right now.
Fantastic. Well, let's read some more of the questions from the Patreon comments section. John T wrote in and said, a question for the Hangout. If Blizzard does start to rotate classic cards to WoW, do you think they'll add new cards to the classic set? If not, we'll end up with an even smaller card pool than we already have. The cards would definitely have to keep with the classic theme, much like Mage's Fireball and Frostbolt do. Nope.
Well,
yeah.
Yes. Yes, you do get a smaller card pool, but that's by design, right? Because the idea here is to make it so that the expansions have a bigger
Larger
impact. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
So a
when I
smaller
said
card
nope,
pool
I
is part
mean,
of that.
yeah, will they add new cards to the classic set? No, because the whole idea is the classic set is homogenizing play too much, so they want to get cards out of there in order to allow more cards from new sets to actually be playable. So if we do see things like Rag rotate to Wild out of the classic set, nothing else will be added to the classic set. But I mean, even if you just look at the nerfs that they did when Standard came in, that was like, what, 12 cards, I think? Something like that.
Well, I guess it kind of depends, though. Like, I think if they were to do something like take out Tyrians and like class-specific legendaries, I think they would re-add classic legendaries for classes.
Unless they removed one from each across the board.
Yeah, no, but I think at that point, that's what they would be doing, right? I don't think you'd remove Tyrion without removing
Jaraxxus.
But I think if you're talking about like just the Ragnaros or Sylvanas, those get replaced by just whatever's in the new set. But I think these kind of like very class-specific ones where we started off with one for each, I think you might replace those. Outside of that, I don't think I think you're absolutely right. I don't think you replace any of the other ones without just, here's a new set of cards, right?
Yeah.
Buy them and you get new legendaries.
I don't know. I don't think we'll... I think we'll either be stuck with Jaraxxus and Tyrion, or they'll just rotate out all class-specific legendaries and won't replace them. Like, I don't know. I can't see them replacing cards in the classic set.
I do think, though, that we won't see... Yeah, like, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because then they're not classic, right?
This isn't to say that I'm against the idea. I think, again, as always, I prefer doing what you think is right to arbitrary rules. So if for whatever reason that like it comes across that this is just better to do, I think they should do that. But yes, Joss, I'm in your camp. I think it's extremely unlikely they will add cards into the classic set. And also I think it's worth
like the he used the example of like Fireball and Frostbolt. I don't think you ever take away Fireball and Frostbolt.
No.
You know, because that's just like a card that's like, yeah, I'm a mage. I blast you with a Fireball, right? Like I think the changes are made to like things like legendaries and stuff.
Well, and I mean, like if they removed, say, all of the classic class legendaries, like I mean that just opens up the design space, right? We've got 2 expansions per year that are going to come out. I mean, if it becomes such a big deal that we're feeling like there isn't enough variation in classes or whatever, they could just give us 2 legendaries per class in the first set. Like there's no reason why they couldn't do that. So I don't know. I don't think that they'll actually add anything into the classic set. I think it'll just be more things rotating through, and I think that's better for the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a list of how many cards there are in each Hearthstone set because I don't know off the top of my head, but they've increased to a certain...
Expansions are 132, aren't they?
That's what I thought. I can't remember if they've all been the same, but I know adventures at least have increased over time and how many cards came in with those. We had significantly less or significantly fewer in Curse of Naxxramas compared to One Night in Karazhan. So that's another thing to keep in the back of your mind. If we get a few more cards with each release, it could it does make up for a few more cards missing from
the classic.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they do it when it makes sense. Like I don't think you probably rotate cards into, like right now this we're gonna get a bunch of cards rotating out of standard. I think this wouldn't be the time you would then rotate some classic cards out. I think it would be with like the second set or the third set, right? Would make probably more sense. And again, like you're right, Garrett. It's like do it when it just makes sense for the game, and not by some arbitrary rule. So.
Yeah. But that's the thing that like really kind of grinds my gears more than anything else is like when I see comments like no reprints ever. I'm like, well, why? Yeah. Why don't you want a reprint ever? Because I'm sure will come a time where bringing back that one card. I don't know, Shielded Minibot. This is personal. It's a card I miss a lot. But let's just use it as an example.
A very personal card to me.
Would be super awesome to come back with a certain set. So why? Because you're just angry and feel like typing in all caps in a comment section? Okay, cool. Back it up, please, with facts and an intelligent discussion.
I put caps lock on, and then I just single finger it, and I get real mad.
Yeah, exactly. So
no reprints.
There's always a difference between...
all me on different Reddit accounts.
yeah, exactly. So that's what drives me nuts. So let's keep an open mind and do what's best for the game. And I think that's what they're already doing. So there you go.
I miss Lothab too, Cheesy Bob.
Oh God, I miss Lothab.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bring Lotheb back. And Reno's not even gone already, but at some point in the future, bring Reno back. Thank you. Cool. Josh, you want to take the next comment?
Sure. This one comes from the Heganator. He says, what are some of the decks a free-to-play player who doesn't have Karazhan should play? Discuss. No Reno decks, because you kind of need Kazakus. Or no, wait, Kazakus is Mean Streets. What's Karazhan? Because Karazhan's like...
Actually didn't have a huge impact on the game, so
yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much. But... and you can have fun with a Reno deck without Kazakus, in my opinion. You should.
Well,
get
yeah, and
Kazakus,
I guess that again, it depends. If you're saying free to play player, are you saying free to play player who wants to be extremely competitive, or are you saying free to play player who wants to have a lot of fun? Because those are two totally different conversations.
Well, let's go with our. I think the default is successful. What's the successful deck that you can build? Dills, what do you have on your free-to-play account? Are you missing any adventures?
So it depends. So my Europe account has the adventures.
Okay.
The only money I spend on the EU account is when an adventure comes out, because I'm not going to be able to save enough gold for those, right? And I basically play enough arena that I can, over time, accumulate enough of the expansion cards, but you can't accumulate the adventure cards any other way, right? So, but then on my Asia account, I have no adventures at all. So the decks I can create on my EU account are fairly close to what I can make on my normal account, minus a few, like I won't have specific legendaries, right? But I do have like Sylvanas and Rag and just things I've opened over time. So I can make like a pretty decent mid-range Shaman deck. I can make a pretty decent Miracle Rogue. I can make most decks that are actually good. I just can't make like, Control Warrior or something like, Cthulhu, Kun, Aviana, right? I can't do stuff like that. Now my Asian account, all I can really make is like Zoo and like aggro Pirate Warrior and stuff like that. So
yeah, it looks like
you're free to play, dude. Start with aggro, man.
Yeah, because I'm just looking Shaman got Maelstrom Portal, but that's really easy to tech in and out.
Sure.
But then there's other classes like Mage got Firelands Portal. That's pretty important to most Mage decks. They also got Babbling Book, which is, again, kind of important. And I think,
sure.
Didn't Mage also get, what expansion was the Kabbalist Tome? Was that Old Gods?
Kabbalist Tome was Karazhan, right?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the list.
Or no,
here.
was it Old Gods?
I think it might have been
Old
Old
Gods.
Gods. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Old Gods. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Kabbalist Tome.
But at the same time,
because Babbling Book is Karazhan. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Babbling Book is Karazhan. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my go-to is always like Zoo. Still, always is a thing.
Zoo
like
an
archetype you can build on a budget. If you're on an extreme budget, Mage always works. I always invoke my wife Katie's, Mage deck that she plays a few times a year. Still.
The problem for Mage, though, for me right now is that you kind of need Flame Wakers, and those come specifically out of an adventure, right?
Yeah, that's BlackRock, right?
Yeah, that's one of the issues, because you could do Mage, like you can do Freeze Mage pretty easily, because that's like almost all classic cards.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets a little tough when you start trying to figure out how to get the Flame Wakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could also, if you're free to play and you have some of the newest expansion, then a Jade Druid would probably be okay.
Yeah, Jade is pretty easy at this point.
Yeah. Because most of the stuff for Jades for Druids is common and rare, right?
Think of it's probably stuff like Nourishes and things are the hardest to get, and like if you're gonna play like Ancients of War and stuff like that, but you don't have to play those. So
yeah,
definitely that. Oh, and also on my free to play account on Asia. Cthulhu Druid is actually still
right, because
totally
everyone
fine.
Gets Cthulhu, right?
You get free Cthulhu, and then all of the cards that buff Cthulhu are basically commons.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the other cards are things like Wrath and Swipe and all that stuff, and those are all commons too. So those are all just earnable cards, right? So yeah.
I was gonna say those are basics, right?
Yeah, a lot of them anyway. So it's definitely like you're gonna be missing out on some of the more popular of the meta decks, but there's decks that, I mean, I think Cthulhu Druid still totally works fine. I played, I'm able to get wins and get up to rank 20 pretty easily on that Asian account with just Cthulhu Druid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 410s are still pretty strong, so it turns out.
Yeah, I still really enjoy my Cthulhu Priest, like a lot. It's still one of my most like favorite decks to play, even though I don't, consider it all that great. And Cthulhu decks are always pretty easy to make function, I think, if you got your free Cthulhu. So,
I think. Do you still get your free Cthulhu? Didn't at one point they say it was going to be free for like a set amount of time?
Well, that's
I don't want to say launch event for sure, but I thought there was some sort of.
That was the thing.
I actually don't know because I got the free Cthulhu when Old Gods was coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't like made a new account since then. So
I assumed you did not. You do not get your free Cthulhu anymore. That was my assumption. You're right. I don't actually know.
I'm gonna Google that for us.
It actually wouldn't. It would make sense to have you not get it, but it also would make sense, honestly, to me to still get it. Like, because let's say you, but maybe if you purchase an Old Gods pack, right? Not just like you purchased it with real money, like boom, here's your Cthulhu. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have no idea. I think it'd be fine either way.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fine.
Okay, so apparently a single non-gold copy of Cthulhu is given to each player when they open their first Whispers of the Old Gods pack.
Okay.
It is uncraftable and can't be disenchanted.
Sure.
So you will still get it as long as you can still buy Old Gods packs, which means when Old Gods rotates out, you will no longer get a free Cthulhu.
So you have plenty of time. Plenty of also,
time.
If you're listening to this and you don't already have your Cthulhu, I want to meet you. You're a unicorn.
Yeah, you are a
unicorn. We get messages all the time from people who say that, they haven't played Hearthstone, but they still listen to the show. So they could exist. They could exist.
Well, you're an actual unicorn, and I salute you with my one horn.
The other thing, too, for free-to-play players, if you're right now kind of trying to become a free-to-play player or you're thinking about dabbling into Hearthstone, you're actually better off kind of holding off, maybe just popping in just to play some, get some quest stone with whatever you can do, or just play against the innkeeper to kind of learn the game. But then when the new set comes in, you will be as caught up as you will ever be at that moment there, because a bunch of sets will rotate out, and all you will really need to collect is going to be the classics and basics, and then two expansions and one adventure, right?
Yeah.
That's as close as you will be to like caught up.
Yeah,
so
it's the smallest ever card pool.
Yep. Smallest that you'll get for the next year. So might be a good time to start there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dills, you want to take the final Patreon comment?
From Dan O Play, my buddy Dano. He runs the Dills Hearthstone League. He's awesome. What do you think about Team 5 allowing the data mining of deck or card win rates to allow for VS Tempo Storm? VS is a Vicious Syndicate.
Yep.
To use real data to put out their meta reports. We've all seen a deck become tier 1 and all of a sudden it's all over the ladder. Wouldn't more data allow for more theory crafting as well as less groupthink? Rather than just give it to specific people, I would kind of like to just have them put it out, right?
Have it just be open, yeah.
Yeah, just be here's available data, and obviously they can decide what and what not goes in there, but yeah, just here's all of the decks right now. This classes, because we see this in World of Warcraft. You can parse essentially the armory and stuff, and figure out exactly how many people are playing Death Knights and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It makes sense to me to then include that as just normal data that we get. I don't know. Seems fine. Right.
I've got a devil's advocate counterpoint to this, and I'm going to call this the Men in Black argument.
Okay.
I think if we had access to the actual stats from Blizzard, that folks like forum posters and Redditors would lose their mind even harder and even louder than they currently do because they're working with perfect information. And to quote Agent K, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
It's true. But we're already getting incomplete and bad information, and people are already making grand assumptions based on it,
That's a very good
right?
point, yes.
So To a certain extent, I'd rather we just get more perfect information, and then people could still be stupid with that information, absolutely. But at least the people who aren't can use it properly.
Yeah, yeah. I think,
and then someone like Vicious Syndicate can just parse it for us, right? They can just interpret what this means for us, and then because they're really smart.
Yeah.
Temple of Storm, they're really smart people, right? Doing that, but they're working with imperfect data, right? So.
Yeah. No, I mean, overall, yeah. I would love to see the stats. The world we're currently living in right now, where Team 5 is actually talking to us a bit, isn't so bad, though. I wouldn't mind as long as this keeps up, as long as they keep giving us actual statistics. That's totally fine. I'm down with that. Personally, yeah, of course. I would love Blizzard stats, but like before with adding cards to the Classic set, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
It would be nice, though. I mean, I think we live in a world where nerds like to nerd out over stats, right?
Yeah.
When we, like when I was a little kid, man, I would stare at the back of baseball cards for hours. And I still do that. Like, I still pore over stats for no real reason other than I find it fascinating. So I would love to see some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's been kind of a call for a long time where players want more personal stats. They want to see more overall stats. They want to see, where does the player base lie? What decks are they playing? And I think just even if we got like a end of the month report from Team 5, maybe with not all of the information, but just some, saying like, here's our analytical spew of information. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, so I think what we're much more likely to get something like that than just here are all of our numbers for all of our things. Ta-da!
Yeah. They could call it the curator post because it's a curated discharge of stats.
Yeah.
You can have a little illustration of the curator there, standing on his soapbox, telling us what's going on in the world of the Hearthstone meta. I can see it now. Yeah. I've even branded it for you, Team 5. Go and don't waste this brilliant idea I've had. Fantastic. Patrons, dudes, guys, I really appreciate everyone dropping us comments. This is great because we actually didn't have a lot of calls today. And this is, we don't have awkward pauses and whatnot when we're pulling questions directly from the comment section. So I think this worked out really well. Jocelyn and Dills, are you two ready for the hardest hitting question that we're going to answer today before we leave?
Uh-oh. All right.
I don't know.
So our good buddy Josh Deacon, who couldn't think of a question, did think of a question, and he messaged it over to me. He wants to know, gun to your head, what is our favorite, each of us, what's our favorite street food that isn't a taco?
Street meat. Dude, easy.
Whoa, what?
Street meat? That seems like
the world is street meat.
Oh my God, okay, maybe it's a Toronto, Canada thing. But it's like foot-long hot dogs. Call it street meat.
Oh, gross. So no. Hey. Gross. No.
You definitely come with a better name for that because I picture some sort of a prostitute of some sort.
What? Oh,
a male prostitute, if you tell me street meat.
I can't believe that's not a saying outside of where I'm from. Okay, I'm just gonna go now.
I love the idea of walking down the wrong part of town where there's a bunch of workers of a certain type and pointing to one of the male workers and going, "Would you check out that street meat?" I love it. That's fantastic. No, yeah, man, I gotta say, oversized hot dogs, probably my least favorite street food. I'm not a huge hot dog fan personally. I'm much more of like a sausage, kind of guy. But mine is sadly not street meat because what a fun name, especially if your brain works like Dill's. Mine would be just cheesesteak of any sort, any type of cheesesteak on a hoagie. I know there are some people out there who are very purist about it, like it has to be a Philadelphia with cheese whiz. I am of the belief that it's really hard to screw up cheesesteak. All cheesesteak is good cheesesteak. So I'm down for whatever. My favorite personally is with like real cheese and peppers and onions. But yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Cheesesteak.
So Austin is like the friggin' capital of food trucks, apparently. It was not something I was aware of before I moved here. But Gary, you were here, and we ate at many a food truck.
I wanted to move there just for the food.
It's kind of crazy. So, but here's one of the greatest things about Austin. You can get dope ass barbecue out of a food truck. I'm calling you out, Micklethwaite Craft Meats. It is insanely good. So there you go. That's my favorite. Where I can get. We ate there, Garrett. You remember what I'm talking about?
It was freaking delicious. And
amazing.
you know what else?
And
we
that's
didn't
a
have
food
to
truck.
wait 3 hours to get our barbecue.
No. And
You guys are way
technically-
too elitist. You should never have to wait for 3 hours for freaking
No, we did. We
that's
did it.
Franklin's
street
barbecue.
meat.
We didn't. That's what we're saying. We
You
didn't.
don't have to wait 3 hours for street meat? Well,
No.
we don't either because we get barbecue. We get delicious brisket, and we get it after like what, a 15-minute wait or whatever.
Yeah,
But
with like 15 minutes. We were in line with a bunch of Hearthstone nerds because it was DreamHack weekend.
that's right.
I saw a dude with like a logo on his shirt that I designed like 2 years ago for another Hearthstone podcast, and I was like, "Holy shit! I forgot I did that." It was
Yep,
great.
and it's literally it's a food truck that you got some of the best barbecue I've ever had out of. So
Yeah.
there you go.
And there were 3 dudes in front of us with guns on their hips because Texas.
Because Texas, still Texas.
Still Texas. Still Texas. But, man, now I just want a freaking cheesesteak. Really bad.
I think I need to find out more about this street meat. I'm on a hunt. Austin would be the
You
type
guys-
of town that would be
you
like,
need to-
we do have a street meat place. Like we actually have that. Although it's
You guys
arti-
just need
it's
to
like
come
artisan
visit me in
street.
Toronto, and then we'll have street meat.
Oh,
and
okay,
it'll be
Jocelyn,
glorious.
I just want to let you know, urbandictionary.com, street meat.
Oh no!
First definition, any variety of meat sold by a street vendor. This includes hot dogs, sausages, kebabs, steak sandwiches, etc.
That could
Two,
have gone so much worse.
a street walking prostitute.
Hey, see what up?
Used in
Or
a
was that
sentence.
just added? Did somebody just add that?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Just to make me feel bad.
Used in a sentence. The ever ambiguous. Let's pick up some street meat.
Get some street meat, bro.
Yeah. 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 That sounds like a catch-all term.
delicious.
I really do love that. Like I love colloquialisms like that. Like locally, you're just like street meat, and everyone where you live knows. They just know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, at least, yeah. All my friends knew.
It's freaking. Oh, that's-
Let's be
I
honest, though.
need to go ask my
Canadians,
roommates who went to school in a different city and be like, do you guys? What's street meat?
Canadian food names, though, you guys don't really try to make it sound appetizing.
We're not
poutine.
fancy.
The first time I heard poutine, I was like, poutine? Poutine?
poo is in the name.
I do not want that.
Poo is in the name. That's like when I
Got
moved
gravy
to.
on it too, so it's even brown. Like it's not even.
I
Oh.
imagined as a child it was just a tiny poo. And I was like, poutine, like a tiny poo. And they eat that in Canada, apparently, because they're gross, I guess.
I'm trying to think of a weird like name for Southern food. Do you guys know what a hush puppy is?
Yeah, oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hush puppies are
they
delicious, but that is a
shoes?
weird name. Yeah.
Joss, do you know what a hush puppy is?
I thought hush puppies were shoes.
No.
No,
Okay.
no.
Is there a brand of shoes called hush puppies?
Okay, I'm just trying to make you
Oh
feel.
my god. Okay, I'm just.
No.
we can't have-
No, this is okay. I was just trying to make you feel better. I was trying to be like, there's weird names
There
for
is,
food down
actually.
here that you might not know what they are. Hush puppy is like a small, deep fried like
cornbread
ball
thing.
of cornmeal, and it's kind of sweet and it's kind of savory. Yeah, and they'll pack on the pounds like super fast if you're
Like
just
little
plowing through
fried
these things.
cornbread balls, and
Yeah.
they're super delicious.
Yeah,
they're
they-
so good. But there is Hush Puppies, the shoe company, I believe. So-
Okay.
You're not wrong.
You're not totally wrong.
Yeah. Hush Puppies is a brand of shoes. Apparently, I didn't know this because when I googled it, the first thing on Google is the food. The second thing is the brand of shoes. So you're not insane, Jocelyn.
So let me ask you a question, Jocelyn, because I've heard of this, and I've heard that it's Canadian, and I've never seen it. But do you guys have something called ketchup chips?
Yeah. Oh my. Ketchup chips are my favorite. They're
What?
so good.
That
Yes.
sounds so gross.
It sounds
so
like
good.
the worst thing on God's green earth. I'm looking it
Ketchup
up right now.
chips.
I'll bring you guys some ketchup
No,
chips in your
I'll-
regular.
Oh, no, don't do that.
No, I
Oh,
don't.
they're actually really good. They're kind of like barbecue, kind of.
Okay.
Barbecue
So we'll get
is
some
my
poutine,
least
some
favorite
street
kind of
meat, and some
chip,
ketchup
so-
chips.
And some
All right.
ketchup chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a real Canadian and then some Tim Hortons. coming.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
right,
Dills,
yeah.
I this just means Dills will probably find a way to make me do a ketchup shot, but I hate ketchup like with every fiber of my being. It's awful.
I feel like, yeah, Garrett, you and I have had this conversation because I've told you how great ketchup chips are, and you're
Yes.
like, it's
Yeah.
the worst.
Actually,
That-
I
that
think
would be
we-
terrible.
I think we had this discussion in a CreateCon.
All right, I just
Yeah.
went on to Wikipedia here, and I'm just gonna feed you some names here.
Okay.
Jig's Dinner, That's the thing, I guess. Bologna stew. Apparently that's a thing in Canada.
I feel like someone who hates Canada made up this webpage.
A flipper pie? No, do you think someone made up Wikipedia who hates Canada?
I edited the Wikipedia page.
A flipper pie. That's the long con, right? They're like, we're going to create a site that gathers all information in the known world. And in the end, we're going to get Canada.
Jeez. That's
the longest of all long cons.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Poutine rapie? What the? Okay,
These all sound... That sounds like a French thing.
A rapie pie? Okay, these, yeah. Okay. Fish and brewis? This sounds terrible.
I don't know
Salt
what any
cod
of
and hardtack?
I don't know what any of these things are.
Okay, good. Thank God. All right.
These are deep
These
cuts. These are Canadian deep cuts, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Well, that's good. That's good then. But
looking forward to trying out my ketchup chips and poutine.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Jocelyn, you can keep your ketchup chips to yourself. I hope you enjoy them. Keep them the hell away from me. That sounds unappetizing. But
yeah, we eat maple syrup on snow. It's delicious.
On snow? Well, like a snow cone, but with maple syrup?
Kind of, but
actually,
like actual snow.
That actually sounds really good.
Go to the maple sugar bush, which is like a big place full of maple trees where they make sap, and then they pipe it down and distill it into maple sugar and maple syrup, and you can actually get like the fresh from the tree syrup, and then they give you a big scoop of clean snow, and then you pour and then it gets all like, it's almost like toffee, and it's so good.
That you can sign me up for. That sounds good. Also, I've never eaten snow because I've never seen snow. So there you go. Anyways, I think because we are now talking about food, that we have brought this Patron Hangout to an end. Thank you to all our patrons who wrote in or called in. Thank you, Josh, for the delightfully off-topic questions. These are my favorite, personally. I love when we start talking not Hearthstone on these because it's the safe episode where we're most likely not going to get yelled at for getting so delightfully off-topic. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you again, everyone, for calling in. Thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC for supporting us. No long-winded outro. Yeah. There's that. Unless there's any burning things Jocelyn Dills would like to pimp.
Street meat is hot dogs.
All right.
That's all.
Okay.
All right. Well, until next time, street meat!
Poutine!
Ketchup chips.
Yum!
Yeah, we did it.
Nailed it.